Hey everybody, hope all is well. Well, look on the screen. GM cutting hundreds of executive white-collar jobs amid electrification jolt. All last year they talked about, we're going to be a lot of layoffs, all last year in 2022, up until the last quarter of 2022. And then they often spoke about how the layoffs would continue and extend to the first quarter of 2023, and here we are. Tomorrow will be March 1st. And the layoffs are still continuing. I just did a video about layoffs, and they were showing at the time that 45% of the people laid off in tech were getting jobs. Well, if there are going to be more layoffs occurring, have you heard about Meta? Going to lay off, I think, thousands more. Another video. If there are more layoffs, I want to bet that 45% that were able to get new employment, it's probably going to get, hate to say it, a lot less. So let's continue on with this article here. A month after CEO Mary Barra said General Motors company was, quote, not planning layoffs, the Detroit automaker is cutting about 500 executive level and salary jobs. The Detroit News confirmed on Tuesday. And that's today, February 28th. The move, delivered amid impressive profitability, signals the evolving impact of electrification on legacy automakers like GM. The company isn't providing the exact number of employees affected in the United States and sites overseas. As of December 2022, GM employed about 86,000 hourly employees and 81,000 salaried employees worldwide. Today's action follows our most recent performance calibration and supports managing the attrition curve as part of our overall structural cost reduction effort, spokesman David Barnes said in the statement. Quote, this action impacts a small number of salaried employees and executives globally, end quote. The job cuts come as other companies and automakers also are offering buyouts, executive layoffs, and making so-called strategically important hires amid economic uncertainty and increasing costs to electrify fleets. Last spring, crosstown rival Ford Motor Company confirmed it was eliminating 2,000 salary jobs and 1,000 contract positions in a bid to cut costs and boost competitiveness. Wow. And again, they made it very clear that the job cuts were going to harshly affect white-collar individuals, upper management. Again, Facebook, more layoffs. I've often said on the videos here, don't believe the green on the screen. I get up in the morning, I watch what? Squawk Box. Monday through Friday. It is not maybe, it's guaranteed. And I may have it I'll have it on financial news like all day, at least up until like maybe 1 or 2 o'clock. Then I might say, hey, just if I let's like run an errand, do something, say I might just kind of maybe watch a movie or go do something else. But that's just me. That's what I like to do. That's who I am. So I've been saying, don't believe the green on the screen. And the reason I say that is because of this. Speaking with a friend, it's like, oh, yeah, they work for a company that is publicly traded. I'm like, yeah, companies, hey, the stock is up. The person, I don't believe is a shareholder, but I think their thinking was, oh, yeah, it's in the green. That's just good. No. Here's what I want to explain. And I explain this to a friend of mine. When I say, don't believe the green on the screen, unless you are an owner, an investor, shareholder, hate to tell you, the green on the screen isn't necessarily about you. It doesn't mean, the company's stock. And I think this was that person's interpretation, which is fine. And I have a different interpretation. Because a company's stock is higher in the green, that's not about the worker bee. They have been saying for months now, it's not enough layoffs. They need more people gone. Zuckerberg, I'll give it to him. Seems like he gave it, in my opinion, the old college try, gave it his best shot. The shareholders were saying last year, reportedly saying last year, they wanted him to cut more people. They made it clear what they wanted. So they had cuts last year. I believe some earlier, this year. Guess what? More cuts coming. Meta. The stock is up. Have you seen it? Oh, it's hella up. Yay! The shareholders. Because that company is doing well, it doesn't mean it's good for the worker bee. They want them to trim the fat. As I said before, and I've said numerous times, these companies are not as wonderful as you may be, and I wish you well, love you, darling. But as wonderful as you may be, or me, these companies, they are not going to burn through cash to feed your family. They're not. It's all about the shareholders, the owners, the investors. That's who it's about. More layoffs Facebook is announcing. Look at the stock. Stock is up. We're just good for the shareholders. It's good for me. It's good for me as a shareholder. I operate differently. So to me, it's not like, I'm not going to say like, oh, yay, they're laying people off. Oh, no. I want my stock up, you betcha. But I'm not going to rejoice in that. That's what I mean by that. And I think people have to understand that. I think now it's coming to light to a lot of people. To some people, all they have was that job. To some people, the job, especially if they're in upper management, that job defined them. That job pretty much validated who they were. And guess what? Now it's gone. Now what? Things are getting pretty. I think they're gonna get. It's gonna get a lot rougher. No end in sight. And don't forget, some of these jobs are never coming back because of AI. If you're an H-1B worker, the visas, you've got 60 days to find another job. And here's what I found out. When it comes to that issue, it's not just find a job. You can't go, well, hey, I've got a job over here on customer service for this company, ABC, EFG. I was surprised to find out what the person was telling me is that it has to be a job in a certain criteria. So you just can't bump down and say, hey, I've got, quote, a job. 60 days. I saw something today on Twitter where a man had to kind of pull up a little bit because a person, I think it was an immigrant, tried to pull up on his daughter. And I guess they had, maybe dated, whatever the dynamics of the relationship was. But he wanted to all of a sudden get married. I already figured it out. I'm like, you know what? If they dated before, he wants to get married. He's probably an immigrant with an H-1B visa. And he knows, I got to go ahead and find another job quick. And if not, he's probably thinking maybe it's near that time. He wants to get married really fast. Yeah, let's try to stay here. Because you don't understand. You have 60 days to find a job in that field. 60 days to find you a job. And again, I was just surprised it has to be. I'm like, wow, it just can't be any job. No, you can't go to, I got a customer service job. And oh, wow, really? I had no idea it had to be so specific. But that is what a person of, foreign descent is telling me. So you see what's going on? You're going to have a lot of people that were considered talent. They're going to be getting out of the country. Because, sweetie, those jobs are not going to be replaced that easily. They're going to be having to leave the country. That means, hope you didn't buy a house or you have a lease, you will be having to leave your furniture. They're not trying to hear, well, I have my lease, so I've got 6 more months. No. It's all over YouTube. You're going to have to liquidate everything. Your vehicle, or you're going to have it shipped over there? Look like it's going to be staying here. Do you see where this is going? You're going to have to pretty much sell everything unless you're just going to walk off and just leave it. At least try to sell it, have an estate sale, and leave with some money if it's getting to that point. And then what if you're holding out faith and at the last minute you're like, oh my gosh, I got 2 weeks. Lives are going to be just disrupted. In the meantime, we're going to have a whole lot of illegal immigrants who are here and who are poor, and you're going to be shipping some of your talent out. Just saying. Good paying job, college degree, it is no guarantee. No guarantee. So this here, GM. If you notice, she's, quote, General Motors was not planning layoffs. But I'm telling you, like that in Facebook, the shareholders, they've been wanting the layoffs, and next thing you know, the stock went up. Announced more layoffs. It might go up again. QQQ, an exchange traded fund, ETF, going down. I've heard people say the market can drop another 20, 25%. Things investors should know, retail investors. How is this supposed to turn out when people are counting on the market for their investments? If they're losing money, then you lose your job. People haven't leave the country. You're bringing more poor people in the country who are just, with their hand out, need some help. Then the Americans can't find jobs. I think we're going to be in for some frightening times. And not to frighten anyone, but it's like, wow, this can be very, very disturbing. More layoffs. If everybody is laying off and no one is hiring, as a man said yesterday in the video that I did, I think I forget the CEO, was it Callahan I was referring to yesterday? What's going to happen when the packages dry up? And then what if they can't find replacement jobs, replacement income, and the packages dry up and the unemployment is exhausted? What's the plan then? Oh, plus we got to help pay for the war. It's just so much uncertainty. I just got a call. I'm going to do a separate video on that right after this one here. Talk about uncertainty. Just when you think the worst cannot happen, Murphy's Law. What could go wrong? Something always does. So this lets you know. Harkers out to people that have lost their income. Try and maybe, switch fields up. Do whatever you can. Even Uber's laying off. Was it Uber? Yes, Uber. Just heard Uber's laying off. Less job creation, all the job cuts. This is a recipe for disaster. We basically have people's lives that are hanging in the balance. So, wanted to share that with you guys. GM cutting off hundreds of executive white collar jobs amid electrification jolt. A company is like a business, it must survive. Said before, said again. They're not going to burn through cash to feed your family. We have to make some hard decisions. As I mentioned before in the other video, like that man, laid off, taking his kids in, living off savings, now not only went through the whole 401k. 2 or 3 years later, what happened to 401k? The savings is gone and the house is not paid for, facing foreclosure. You now have 3 generations of people in a home having to get out. Get out and go where? With what money? So I just think it's a disaster. And sometimes you can sink so low or you can get so hard, you can't all necessarily, as they say, put your bootstraps on and pull up. What you gonna pull up with? And for some people, you've been stolen boots. You've been stolen the boots. Somebody pull yourself up by the bootstraps. It's harder to do. Imagine that boot is your home. Pull yourself up. What's going to be your address? So I'm afraid that we're going to see more people having to consolidate. You're going to have more people, more than one, and you're going to have one home with more than one generation staying there for survival. And the person that may have a retirement or pension, that they may find themselves having to pretty much support other people. Retirement cancel. Got to support your grown kids. Got to help them out. So this right here, for those that are financially sound, stay the course. Do not, I understand helping people. Don't let other people put you into the poorhouse. Don't let other people be the reason you get out of your house. Let me know what you all think. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Be said here on YouTube. Love you lots. Thanks for listening, and I'm out.